Let's go over this now. Alright, this is Turok. I just read the chapter, and we get some great stuff here. So in the last chapter, I'm gonna go over this again, yeah. So last chapter we saw the, I forgot again. Last chapter I remember that Bonnie talked about how her, let's start over. Take 3. Hey guys, it's Turok. I just finished reading the chapter, and I'm gonna just go over it myself now, and then do post videos as I think about stuff. And so at the beginning of this chapter, we got Brooke and Zoro together on a ship, and they're staying there while Nico and Nami and Usopp and Sanji go with the Lilith Vegapunk, and Caribou's there too. And so this chapter, so what happens next is we get all those Straw Hats here, and they're heading down an escalator into the another area. And what ends up happening here, though, is this in this chapter, Lilith essentially leads them into a area where we meet another Seraphim looking like a warlord, and this time we finally meet Jinbei's Seraphim form, and it looks exactly like him. Of course, it's got the Lunarian look, though. It's got his hair is that white blonde look. His skin is that copper tone. And he looks a lot younger. And this thing begins to fight with the Straw Hats, essentially. It looks like they've basically been tricked by Lilith, I guess you could say. Not you could say. Lilith brought them here because we end up meeting another Vegapunk named Edison, the Edison one, as well as the Desire, I think we meet down the line. And the Edison one and Lilith are watching this battle unfold in order to get data from the Straw Hats, and I think primarily to help learn more about how to improve the Seraphims. But of course these guys are pirates, and I'm wondering if they're taking in this data that then could be transferred to the world government. So the first thing we see is what is that? Is that something Nami does? Nami does some kind of attack that knocks down this Jinbei Seraphim. No, never mind. She tries to. Oh, that's right. She's trying to. I think she is about to get her wand out or whatever that staff and use something, and he ends up jumping. And he creates like a puddle of water, and he's like swimming in it, essentially like Lord. What's his name did. Senior, what's his name, from Doflamingo, and he's going after Nami with that. Right. It's the same ability. Because Frankie points out, I know that ability. What's his name? Senior Pink, right? Yeah, this Jinbei Seraphim has Jinbei Pink's attack. And so it uses that to rush Nami before she can attack. Which, of course, gets Sanji pissed off, and he comes in there with his like a Diablo kick or whatever, and knocks it back. And then Nico follows up with her Gigante Fleur Sea Serpent, and pummels it with her look like hand palm attacks. But this seems to have very little effect on it as it begins to jump at her, but rush her too. And this is and Usopp comes in using his exploding grass green star, and even that doesn't seem to fully like. What did he hit? Did he hit him? No, it doesn't appear to work either, because this thing then comes around and gets a chokehold on Usopp from the back. And Sanji's about to rush in to save him, but then Frankie comes in and uses his radical beam attack onto this Jinbei. So this thing is like holding its own against some of the Straw Hats. Although we don't have Zoro and Luffy here to see how that would work, it certainly seemed to take Sanji's attack quite well without being completely completely not harmed, not knocked out. So then we switch here to where we finally see Edison, and he looks like a little. He reminds me of that one fish guy from one of the scabbards, Komatsu. Except he's wearing some kind of rope suit. He's got like a football-shaped, advanced-looking helmet. And he's got the number 3 on him. He's got some kanji or something written on his right of his chest. I don't know what that means. Someone will probably be able to translate that. And this first thing we see with this guy is he's surprised to see Frankie being able to wield a laser beam. I assume they didn't think anyone else out there in the world would be able to create those things. And he's remarking that he's a little worried about letting this Seraphim go through any more tests because it's still a kid. So these things are essentially like cyborgs still that grow. They'll grow naturally as though. And he's worried about fighting them, especially against Frankie, because he says it's not meant to go through laser tests till later. And then Lilith here comes up behind and she's watching the fight too. And she's real pissed about that Frankie doing that attack, because she remarks that the Seraphims, that Frankie doesn't have any idea how much those Seraphims cost. Well, I would say to you guys, you shouldn't be putting pirates up against them, especially an Emperor level pirate crew, when you don't know what kind of abilities they have. You're risking it. Wait, so what's this? Flare. So Vegapunk, this Vegapunk, oh, that's the other one. Oh, I was wrong there. There's another, we do see another Vegapunk I didn't realize here. I read this too fast. So the Edison one leaves to do some notes for some new invention, and then we meet the Wisdom one, who looks like a big robot. Just a robot, really. Although it's got like goggles on its head. It's got little eyeballs that look like they're through a visor. And he's running off. Edison's wandering off to make some new blueprints, and he leaves Wisdom to keep making notes on battle data from the Straw Hats combat fight with Seraphim Jinbei. So then we see something else very interesting here. We meet another Edison. I think this is the one that's Desire. And apparently Desire's job here is to eat for the other Vegapunks, especially Edison, because he's just so busy writing these ideas down. He can't keep up with his own ideas, that she eats for them. So they call her York. So her name is York, I guess, or maybe that's a nickname. And we see other of the staff working there bringing her food, and initially when we see her, she looks like a very plump girl wearing her Punk 6 outfit, and she's got goggles. Also, they all got goggles, don't they? So she's eating her food, and when they show her later, okay, that's racist. So when she digests the food later, I'm gonna jump ahead in the panels a little bit. She goes to the restroom, does a bowel movement, and then she returns to her normal skinny girl form, like something who's probably like the same age or older, or really about to Rebecca. And Oda, she's basically only wearing underwear on her lower part, but she's got the shirt on, a tank top, a jacket, those boots. So interesting, we get something here interesting, going back a little bit now. When we see Wisdom, again, watching the battle, he goes over some interesting stuff about that the Seraphim's attack patterns can develop as they grow, and that the lineage factor helps store up recollections. And he talks about when if they make new ones, they should to try to accelerate their growth. Or maybe he means that with these ones. So now we reach near the end of the chapter here. Well, I go over this fast. We're near the end of the chapter here. Oh yeah, so when we see desire eating, we notice the we notice the Edison and Wisdom saying how that hit the spot. So they are sharing nutrients, even though only one of them is actually doing the eating. But we see Raph saying, "Gotta punch something to help me digest." So finally we meet here the Shaka Vegapunk. We see them in their full form. We don't know what the face of this one looks like either. So we don't. Edison, Wisdom, and Shaka all either look like they're wearing helmets of some form or another. And Shaka, though, is the only one in a regular, of those three anyways, in a regular human form. The Edison and Wisdom one and Wrath, all three of them are really different than regular human forms. Only Desire, Shaka, and Lilith are normal human proportions. And Shaka here has a form that looks much like a guy. We only see him in a long coat going down to his knees, and then he's wearing the same boots that they're all wearing. And this coat is black and white, and it has a hood on it. What's that read on his arm? Caution X. So this Shaka comes in and puts a halt to the battle we just witnessed with the Jinbei Seraphim and the Straw Hats, and he also does something here where he forces the boots that Straw Hats have been given are holding them to the floor now. And Pythagoras. Wait, which one was Pythagoras? Pythagoras was here too? Wait. Oh yeah, Wisdom was Pythagoras? Oh wait. Wisdom, Pythagoras, wait. There's three of them there? Edison, Lilith. Oh, Pythagoras is Wisdom. That's his name. Wisdom is this thing, right? I got that wrong. I was calling him Wisdom, but he's actually Pythagoras is his name. Edison represents what again? Flare? Okay, that's right. That's right. The little things that represent the... So he disrupts this fight, which actually upsets the other ones, the other two, because they wanted to see more of this data they could get from this. And I gotta turn the panel here. This is like a spread now. So we finally end this chapter here with something very interesting. So Shaka talks about how Shaka talks about this is actually an island of the past. And at the end, we see Jinbei, Chopper, Luffy, and Bonnie walking around, and they're in front of a giant mech robot that has a knight-looking outfit. Like, it's got the visor. It's also got horns. I wonder if that's horns. If that's like something we do with Kaido. But Shaka reveals that this is actually the island. This island. The way he doesn't say it this way, but he says this. He talks about how there was a civilization 900 years ago that was highly advanced. Ooh, okay. So is this island the highly advanced island that Vegapunk found and took over? This is leading to some neat-looking questions. So this is the end of the chapter. We focused on just the Straw Hats solely today. I was hoping that we'd see the CP0 assault on the island, but we're still not there yet. We're getting more stuff on the Vegapunks. We got to meet all the other ones now except the original. We still don't know what happened with him and Dragon either. But this leads some questions again to me now. Oh wow, don't scratch me. My cat's scared. Got scared. So, is Vegapunk a new prodigy, or is he someone who was from the civilization? I'm pretty sure I talked about that in the last video I did. And this is making me think the same thing again. Or if I didn't say that, I'm thinking of it now, I guess. Is Vegapunk perhaps some very old person? Like, we already know that people in One Piece world can live a long time. We got Dr. What's her name? Who's 140 years old. And she's still fit. She's not hunched over or anything. I mean, age is taking its effect on how she looks. You can tell she's not looking like Nico or Nami. She's probably the oldest. I don't think not the oldest. She is the oldest known character we know about this time. We don't know much about Vegapunk or Im-sama, but that just makes me wonder. I was just thinking about what other characters are even come close to that, and all I can think of right now is Rayleigh, who's like 81 or so. So the question is Vegapunk still alive somehow, or did he go through some process of keeping his memories and knowledge passed down? Maybe he knew how to do some kind of cloning, and he's been doing something where he's keeping his body alive for a long time through other forms, like he's got these 6 now to keep himself going, and he's been staying on this island from a place where maybe he learned all his scientific knowledge 900 plus years ago. Or maybe it's just the other thing where he's like a prodigy person who's only in his 80s, 90s now, and found this place, and he's just so advanced, and he found this place and is trying to learn from it. I'm thinking kind of like Frankie learned from Vegapunk's inventions. Frankie's himself is a prodigy and learned from Vegapunk's inventions that he found on the other island he was on for the 2 years of the time skip, during the time skip. So we're seeing an ancient mech here. So this island is clearly someplace that was left over from there. So that the question that brings up to me right now is next is, does the world government know this island's from that place? And if so, did they let it be only because Vegapunk is there helping them? Or if they knew about it, would they want to destroy it because other people could find out stuff about the ancient civilization that they wouldn't like to be found? Maybe we'll find that out. Maybe that has to do with this. That again leads to also why I guess Zero might be there to kill Vegapunk. This island is of the past. There might be stuff. Yeah, there might be something to this where the government's worried about that, and they're worried now that there's not worried. They've come to a point where they need to get rid of the what is that term they use in movies? They gotta get all the loose ends. That's what I'm looking for. Vegapunk is to them seems to be a loose end that they need to snuff off, tie off, whatever now, to keep their power, the status quo. For some reason they're worried about it, as we've talked about. Also, by the way, what's that behind Lilith and Edison? There's some kind of globe thing showing. Is that supposed to be some astrological stuff? Astronomy stuff behind there? So this thing, yes, these seraphims, based on what we've just seen between this one and the one that fought briefly with Blackbeard on Amazon Lily, are definitely capable of being top tier, facing off against top tier opponents. So this Jinbei one took a direct kick from Sanji, and the other one went after Blackbeard, who had to fight back with it with his haki. And we don't know for sure how he defeated it, but it probably was using his devil fruit ability to suck it in. Also, yeah, so clearly too, the Vegapunk's are not. It seemed like we were going to meet the main Vegapunk after the last chapter, but it looks like they're just now that I mean they've stopped Lilith. Shaka stopped Lilith from fighting them on her own because he could perceive it that there was too many of them that could fight, take her and their guards, their sea animals out. But they clearly here wanted to. They also want to keep probably. I was planning on keeping them as science experiments, as I said in another video a few weeks ago. It looks like they could be on the verge of doing that here. So we'll see if they have to fight their way out. Although with Aegis Zero about to show up, I have a feeling they'll end up becoming allies with the Vegapunks to fight Aegis Zero off. But it does look like the intent of them to be what I said and to keep the Straw Hats there, I bet. And he tricked them by having them wear the nice outfits, which they clearly can control. Right, we gotta go down. You're scratching me bad. So let's see, we got the new Vegapunks. Also, this one, Pythagoras has a little wind-up toy wrench on his head. This one looks more like it's just a robot. He can go out. Well, looks like it's just a robot, but it had like human-looking eyes in its face, so I don't know what's up with that. While the other one, the one's got hands that look like they're robotic, but they are. Otherwise, it almost seems like it's more human compared to the other, compared to Pythagoras, but it's hard to say for sure. Also, it looks like here Edison is the one that makes up all the main ideas among everyone. So there clearly is different roles here, as we discovered more of here. So Desire is the one that helps them feed themselves. I know how that is, to be working and then you don't feel like you want to eat. Also, this Desire definitely has to. Her name is York. That's what it was. York here has to eat a lot for all 6 of them, or maybe she's doing it for the 7th one too, the original. And they have a spot where she's on her 4th cycle of SDN, snack dump nap. I wonder what her hair color is supposed to be. They don't show that here in the colored panels. They did. The colored panels they chose to use here are just show the last page of the chapter with the Luffy and the other Straw Hat. Luffy bonding his chopper, Jinbei looking at the machine there, plus a little bit of Shaka and Frankie. So it looks like too we're finally about to get some interesting lore about that one civilization from 900 years ago. I wonder if any of of course, duh. I just said why would the Aegis Zero there? Shaka clearly knows enough about that. I wonder if that's what he found out here, duh. So, Ohara Island, where Nico came from, found out about stuff through their academic studies and probably archaeology and if I found old books and texts like that surviving. I bet this island is something the world government did not realize was still around. And now that they do, they're worried about how Vegapunk, this Shaka one's about to give some information about this island to pirates who are wholeheartedly against the world government. So there's definitely something going on here where the Aegis Zero has to go there on they're going there to eradicate him, to keep this information from coming out. And we also still don't know anything about if this has to do with there's some interesting science stuff going on here too with something here, about how green blood concentration has risen. And then he talks about This is Pythagoras. He also talks about accelerating the growth, but that will present new obstacles. How the hell are they sharing the same nutrition when they're not tethered in any physical way, too, you know? Also, when the Straw Hats are fighting Jinbei, the Jinbei Seraphim, they felt a little weird attacking it because it looks like Jinbei. Yes, something else here. Vegapunk must be collecting DNA samples of devil fruit users in some way, or the devil fruits themselves, actually, probably a better way to put it. And he somehow is giving them to the Seraphims. So he gave Jinbei the fruit of the fruit power that Senior Pink had. So now that just brings up the question of what the other Seraphims will have. So we have Mihawk. What kind of fruit powers could Mihawk use that would be useful? There's a video to make. I'll have to make another video. I'm going to look up fruit powers and think about the other Seraphims could have. Boa. Could Boa still have her? Could the Boa one still have the original's fruit power? And can they give him more than one? I was looking at this. I was just looking over the Seraphim battle with the Straw Hats, and now it just was having me wonder how well could these Seraphims do in battle against the likes of the other Yonko, especially Blackbeard and Shanks, who are longer established, powerful figures. What I mean by established was experience, actually. Because I'm looking at the Straw Hats, and we didn't have Zoro, Luffy, and Jinbei here, but so we had Sanji here, who technically would be the toughest one in this group, fighting the Seraphim. So I'm thinking too is that the Straw Hats still are pretty new on the scene, and probably could have a lot of growth that they can achieve if they all live. So in the next 20, 30 years, in their areas of lifetime, that would and the One Piece would make them, it would still be in their peak, as we've seen like Whitebeard and Roger, where when they were both approaching those ages on that 30 years from where the Straw Hats are out. I'm thinking that these Seraphims are impressive here, but, well, how do I put this? There's two ways to look at this. My point is, if this Seraphim had fought Shanks or Blackbeard, I think this would have ended better in Shanks or Blackbeard's in their favor. So bottom line, I'm trying to just gauge the Seraphim's powers here, and it's very interesting to see what they did with the Straw Hats. Although it seems like did Frankie even damage it? It doesn't look like Frankie actually damaged it. We see him use the same laser beam thing that Jinbei does, and at the end we see the thing still squaring off on one side of Shotgun, the Straw Hats on the other. So these Seraphims are going to certainly be a force to be reckoned with if we see adult ones and they show up at the final battle. I'm just wondering, will Vegapunk have time to make any more than the ones he has here made of the warlords? I'm guessing probably not, because I guess Zero's about to come in here and wreck the place. So I have a feeling we'll only have these ones at the end, and Oda will have a battle with them going one-on-one with certain other characters, maybe other pirates or some of the Marines or something. I'm just thinking shit's going to get weird at the end, and this is definitely going to be Vegapunk. I don't know if he'll take sides toward the end. If he'll help the Straw Hats now, I feel like that'll happen because of August on its way, but we'll have to see later.